Welcome back to another action-packed and fun-filled episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. And as always, I'm your host, Mike Adams, and joining me tonight, my co-host who has the strength of 10 men.
Mike Adams. Hey, what's up?
And tonight we got a special guest. We got my youngest boy, Jake. He's in with us tonight. He's going to sit in on the podcast. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, how you doing?
And I'd like to remind everybody we are part of the Outdoor Radio Network, and we are also now teamed up with Skinny Moose Radio. You can go over to skinnymoose.com. You can find our podcast there on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. So cruise on over there, and you can check us out live. Well, we're not live on the web, but we got our own time slot over there, so we get to hang out over there, and you can listen to us at work. How cool is that? Just don't get in trouble. That's the important thing. All right, Mike, well, we got a big week coming up here. We've been busy this week getting ready to do our big turkey hunt down in Ohio. And actually, that's why you're here tonight. You're going to kind of chime in with us here and talk about what we're going to do. So let's get right into it here now. Now, we started getting ready this week, Michael. What are your thoughts on kind of how things are going so far?
I think that we're doing pretty good at getting packed and stuff, having checklists and stuff, but we still have a lot more stuff to do. Yeah,
we're about halfway there, and we're leaving Wednesday. But you know what? You brought up a good point there. Checklist. We do have a checklist, and, man, we started out with something small, and it's turned into 3 pages.
Yeah.
And actually, I think what I want to do, we did the one on the blog site, remember, we put up there for the scouting checklist for turkeys, and we put that up there for the guys to download. So I think what we should do with this one, maybe, is put this on the website also. It's kind of like this one we can call it a turkey
hunt checklist.
Turkey hunt or turkey camping/turkey hunt, whatever. Because if you're just joining us on the podcast here, we've been talking about this for some time. We're from Michigan, and we're going to go to the state of Ohio to hunt turkeys here this coming week. And we're going to spend 4.5 days down there, and we're going to camp in the woods. I mean, this is going to be a new experience for both of you two.
Yeah.
You've never camped in the woods, have you?
No.
And I know, Jake, you've never been out there, so we're going to be sleeping in tents and getting with it, old-fashioned way.
Tent was outside the lodge in the backyard.
Yeah, and that's not camping, man. This is going to be in the forest, right out in the middle of the woods. So
yeah, the only time I've been camping was in a camper.
In a camper, yeah. So it's going to be all new for you too, and it's going to be different. We're going to do it old-fashioned and get back to the way things used to be done. So it should be a good time for all of us. But the checklist, that's a great way to get things together, and it's something you can always add to and expand as you go along. And that's what happened this week a lot, didn't we? We started making a list. And
then when we went to the store and stuff, we'd take the list with us in the car and we just write it down.
Yeah, and we'd think of things, we'd add to it, and we'd see things in the store and we'd keep adding to it and all that kind of stuff. Now, going along with the checklist is maps. We're going into a new area. We've been there one time when we went down scouting about, a month ago?
Yeah.
A month and a half ago we went down scouting, and we kind of got a lay of the land. But something that's kind of new, well, I don't know if it's real new, but it's more available now to all kinds of hunters and fishermen, is the internet maps. But you can get on the internet and check out different areas you're going to fish or you're going to hunt. And you can get topographical maps, you can get aerial view maps, and it's got the roads and the whole 9 yards laid out.
And you also use this stuff for like cyber scouting, like Google Earth and stuff.
Yeah, Google Earth's another good one. The one that I used this time actually was through, I think it was through mossyoak.com. If you sign up to be a member on their website, which is free, of course, you can use their mapping software. Now, I will say this. You get all the maps you want on there, but to actually get printable, downloadable maps, you have to pay for it. So what I've been doing, I've been getting around it a little bit, is I'll get the map on the screen like I want it, and then I'll just do a print screen and save the file, or I'll actually just print that page off.
Screenshot?
Yeah, screenshot. So either way, you still get the map. It's just not as nice and robust probably as what you would get if you paid for the subscription. But
does it have like one of the mossyoak.com things right across it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't watermark it at all, so it works out fairly nice. I don't. Have you seen them yet?
No.
I think I got them in the map book here, but that's from MapQuest, the one I got there. I'll have to show you later, but they do a nice job. There's different views you can get. You can zoom in extremely close, and it gives you the lay of the land topographically. And obviously, where we're hunting is a bunch of hills and ravines. Yeah. It's pretty steep, but that's another good way to cyber scout, like you said. So that's one of the things that we're going to use and take with us. Now, last week's show, we talked about going up to Cadillac, if you remember, trying to get the tent resized and all that, because we ran in and actually got the wrong size tent, and we got that back. I actually put it on a truck this week, and it was a real windy day. I put that thing on the truck from start to scratch.
In the wind
in 20 minutes by myself. It went up real easy. It was really nice.
Probably go half the time with two people.
Two people. I think you and I could put that thing up in probably under 10 minutes by ourselves, or between the two of us. I actually took and shot video of it also. And when we get back from our turkey hunt and I get some time, I want to edit that and put it together and put it on our television website that we're using to store our videos on. And we'll link it to the blog site so you guys can check it out and see actually how this thing goes up, what it looks like on the truck, and how hard. It's not hard, believe me, but how we had to put the thing up. So that's something we're going to try to do and get out there for you guys to take a look at. So you actually got to see. You didn't get to see it on the truck, but you saw the pictures from the video.
Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
I think it looked cool. I think it looked like it would, but with us three, it might be a little tight.
It's going to be a little tight with three of us, but one thing we did do in our planning stages is we packed backup tents just in case. And this is something you may want to consider, guys, if you're going to go and camp somewhere, especially if you're camping way away from your home. Like if you're going to a local park or something by your home, it's not such a big deal. But if you're traveling a couple hundred miles and you're going to tent camp, you always need to have backup supplies and stuff like that. We're going to be out there in the forest. What happens if, get a little bit of breeze and a tree limb falls and pokes a hole in the tent and ruins the tent? Well, we've got 2 tents for backups, although we will be sleeping on the ground instead of the back of the truck. That'd be the only difference. Now, as far as being a little tight quarters, my brother-in-law, who's going to meet us down there, he's bringing a pole camper. And actually, you'll probably wind up, or Jake wind up sleeping in that with him. Or, worst case scenario, one of you sleep in the back of the back seat of the truck in the extended cab portion. But it will sleep 2 people, 2 adults comfortably. There shouldn't be any problem with that. It's a short box, full-size pickup. So, we got a 6.5-foot box. The tailgate down, actually the tent, when you install it, comes out past the box and onto the tailgate and uses that as part of the sleeping space. So that works out pretty good. So we'll be all right. I think we'll be fine. What do you think about it? You haven't seen it yet, have you, Jake?
No.
You excited about getting into that thing and spending a night under the stars?
Yep.
Yeah? What do you think it's going to be like?
It's just going to feel like when we went camping, we'll sleep out in the backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you slept out in the backyard, we had to sleep on the ground, didn't we?
Well,
yeah, your back got kind of sore. Were you sore the next morning you woke up?
No.
No, I was. I was really sore. Ground's all lumpy.
Yeah.
But what I like about this, with the truck, you're off the ground so it doesn't suck the heat out of your body. And we've also got that big 4-inch foam pad in there.
I laid on that. That's comfortable.
It's 6 foot by 4 foot, fits right between the fender wells, and it's got a plastic coating around it that's pliable. It's not like shell hard, but it does give a little bit. And it's a perfect mattress. I mean, I think it's gonna work great. So I'm really looking forward to trying that
Put
out.
a shot blanket over it.
Yeah, well, it's packing blanket for like moving. We've got some of those here at the house, and we're gonna take and put one of those down inside the tent, and then put our sleeping bags on top of it. So I think we'll be fine. The weather's supposed to be great. Been looking at the weather, and that's another thing great about the internet is you can use this to look ahead. It gives us a 10-day forecast. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been watching and seeing the weather progress, through the couple weeks here, and just seeing what the weather's been like, number one, to see if the birds have had enough good weather for movement, but also what to look forward to when we get there. And, I think the lowest it's supposed to be next Saturday evening, our last night, supposed to be like 48 or 49 degrees, and that's perfect sleeping weather, And the other 3 nights are supposed to be in the 50s, so we're going to be fine, and it's going to be in the high 60s, low 70s during the day. So I'm really looking forward to. It'll be comfortable, We're going to be fine. I'm not worried about that at all. Now, we talked about we did the dry run with the boat here 2 weeks ago to make sure the boat worked, because we're taking that with us in case we do some fishing down there. And we also did the dry run on the tent, which is a doggone good thing because it was the wrong size.
Yeah.
We would have been hosed had we got down there and had the wrong size tent. Well,
it would just be hanging over a little bit. But,
I don't know if it would. I don't know how we would have got the thing to stay up.
Yeah.
Because it needs to fit the truck, because it uses
the support of the tailgate.
Yeah, it needs all that supporting system of the tailgate and the 2 sidewalls of the fender or the box of the truck to support the tent. So we also, packing this week, my dad gave me a Coleman camp stove. Oh, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago, and it got brought over and put in the garage along with the lantern, and it sat there in the cupboards. And when we started thinking about how we're going to cook, it's like, hey, we got the camp stove, we'll take that with us. So this weekend we got it out. Actually before we even got it out, he told me it was, we need to get fuel for it, and I was under the assumption that it was the Coleman fuel, or the what they call white gas, that we needed to use at the old pump style stoves. So when we went up to Gander Mountain, obviously looking around, we bought some of that fuel, got home. Well, guess what? It's not. It's a propane stove. So
you should have looked at it before.
Yeah, we should have looked at it before, but we didn't. And it's a good thing we did the dry run, again, because here we are with a problem. And not only that, there was no regulator to put the bottled gas onto the stove. So we have no way of getting propane into the stove to make it work. And did a lot of, let me back up. We went back up to Gander Mountain. We took the fuel back and looked for a regulator kit for it. Couldn't find one, and stopped at another camping store, could not find one. And so I come back home, got online. They make these regulators for them, but the regulator was $35. I can buy a brand new stove for $49. And it's like, for $15, I'm going to buy the new stove.
Yeah.
Not only that,
it'd be kind of nicer.
It'd be nice and clean, and not only that, we have to mail order it, and it wouldn't get here in time before we leave. And on top of that, there may be something else wrong with the stove besides that piece missing. So we're just going to go that route and take care of that. So I guess the moral of this whole story is, before you go on a big adventure, and if you're taking gear that you haven't used in the last, say, even 6 months, if you put it away last year, what's that?
Maybe like a shotgun.
That's a good point. Even a brand new shotgun. Good friend of mine, we've talked about Bob Rich here on the podcast before. He bought a new firearm last week. He's had it at the range twice, and it's had multiple misfires. And he took it back. And Cabela's was nice enough. Well, actually, it wasn't nice enough because they didn't want to give me his money back, but they have a policy, a 30-day guarantee on returns for firearms. And it was faulty, number one. He didn't want another one just like it because of that problem. And I believe Ruger had a recall on some of their firearms. So he's going to go a different route. But, you brought up a very good point, Michael, that even if you've got a new firearm, you got to get out, number one, pattern the doggone thing, make sure it's going to be able to shoot turkeys the way you want it to, but make sure that it doesn't hang up. Get that gun to cycling. When we went out to the range 2 weeks ago, Kevin Hutchins, he had a new 20 gauge that he bought, and it started hanging up on the second and third shot.
But that was with older loads.
Well, actually, even with some newer loads, but the thing is once we got that gun to cycling and broke in, it fired fine. And we fired multiple rounds after that, and it worked fine. But the first, 3-4 times through cycling of 3 shells, it would kind of hang up. So if you've got new equipment, number one, or equipment that you've put away for 6 months or more, get that stuff out, fire it up, go use it, whatever you got to do. Make doggone sure that it works before you get out into the field. Because the last thing you want to do is get out there and then nothing work. I mean, we would have been down there with no place to sleep and no way to cook. What's the first 2 things you look for when you're in the wilderness? Shelter and fire to make food or to stay warm and dry. So we would have had neither. So
you have to have water.
And water. Well, we're going to carry water, but that's a good point. You got to have water too, and that's on our list. We're going to definitely take water. So that's just some important things to think about if you're going to head far away from home and make an adventure. And it would have been an adventure with those problems, believe me. So we're getting them worked out. We're gonna take care of that stuff, and we'll get after it. So, well, Jake, you haven't said a whole lot yet. This is going to be actually your first big hunting adventure ever, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to turn 9 Saturday while you're down there. Now, how cool is that? You get to go on your first hunt and turn 9 at the same time. So
we'll have to make you a mud cake.
Yeah, we're going to have to make you a mud birthday cake or something. Maybe we'll top it with some bugs or something like that.
Or maybe top it for turkey feathers if we get one.
Yeah, that'd be even better. Put some turkey feathers on top. We'll have to do something for you. Maybe put some twigs in it and light them on fire for candles.
Dip them in the Coleman fuel.
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll hook you up. But this is kind of our birthday gift to you. What's happened here in Michigan is he can't hunt until he's 10. And he'll be 9 next week. He's took hunter safety and passed that with flying colors. And he's wanted to hunt so bad for the last 2 or 3 years. And we've taken him with us, but like any hunter, when you go out, you want to be able to shoot and take game. That's part of it, and that's part of the enjoyment of it. And he hasn't been able to do that because of the laws here in Michigan. So we did one thing better. We said, you know what, forget Michigan, we'll just go somewhere where he can hunt, and that's what we're going to do. So are you getting excited about it, Jacob?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's going through your mind now? What are you thinking about?
That we're going to get one.
You're going to get one, okay. Well, if we don't get a bird, I mean, if we get down there and we spend 4 days and we don't get a turkey, are you going to be disappointed?
Nope.
No. Are you just looking forward to getting out, right?
I'm just looking forward to getting out and having fun.
Having fun. That's what it's all about. So, we might get one, we might not. Who knows? We might not even see one. Or we may see a bunch and we might all tag out, which that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? So, but I don't know. What are you thinking is going to happen? I mean, what's going through your mind as you're thinking about this week and us leaving and everything? What you got anything that's you're anxious about or worried about?
I'm worrying about that it will rain or something.
Rain or something? Are you worried about staying dry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got a rain.
Warm.
Yeah, we got a rain cover we put over the tent to keep the tent. The tent's it's got the rain shield to keep it nice and dry inside. And we've been checking the weather, and we're going to take some clothes to make sure we stay warm. And we can always build a fire, in the campfire there to keep warm with. So, one thing you did ask me though last week, you were worried about. I don't know if you remember or not, about being able to use the bathroom outside, right?
Yeah.
You were a little concerned about how you do that, right? And what did I tell you we were going to take?
A bucket and a bag.
Bucket and garbage bag, and then what am I going to put around it so you feel like you're in a bathroom?
Outhouse pop-up blind.
Yep, that's right, and it's the outhouse pop-up blind.
It's actually called the outhouse.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. So you'll have a little bit of privacy there.
It's like a little teepee.
Yeah, but that's some important things you need to think about and ask your kids about. What are they anxious about? Is there anything you're worried about? Or concerned about? If you've got questions, ask. That way you don't get down there and all of a sudden, or out to wherever you're going, and figure out, wow, man, the kid's got a problem being able to use the facilities because he's anxious about not having four walls, and being able to have a little privacy. And it may sound funny and it may sound silly, but it's something that could potentially cause a little bit of a problem that you need to think about. So,
and if people think it's silly or something, just say, hey, how are you going to go to the bathroom out in the woods?
Yeah, it's not silly because it's a genuine concern that you had. So, take the time to answer those questions for the kids. Or, matter of fact, just ask them some things. Ask them. Say, well, what are you thinking about? Have you got any concerns about some things? And just take the time to sit down and simply explain them to them. It's just something you can avoid later on down the road. So you all fired up and ready to go, man? Yep. All right. Yeah, we're going to get on there and get after them, right?
Yeah, we've been practicing shooting out at the gun range.
Yep, you all ready for that? So you got that down, and
Yeah, and I already shot off the ground. So.
Yep, been down in the shooting position down on the ground like you shoot turkeys, right?
Yep.
So you got that all figured out.
Yeah, but I will need to use a firing stick. Gun stick.
A shooting stick. Yep. I got the shooting stick packed in the truck right now. Matter of fact, that way, you get that gun propped up because you did struggle just a little bit getting that knee up, making sure he's in the right position. So we're going to take care of that for you. Got you a nice little shooting seat that you can sit on the ground with, and we're going to put the whammy jammy on him.
Yeah.
Well, what are you thinking there, big fella? You hadn't said a whole lot about it. I know you're getting anxious about it.
I've been practicing calling because I'm going to be calling for Jim if we split up.
Yeah, with four of us, obviously we're not all going to sit in the same spot, but we might split up in the same general area, and so you're going to be doing some calling. You're going to be kind of a little mini field guide there. Yeah. And you've actually never shot a turkey, so
but I've had one in front of me.
Yeah, he'll be our little hen.
He's going to be the little hen. We'll put it behind us so he calls them through us. There you go. Yeah. Well, hopefully I can call some in, but it ought to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I've been practicing on my mouth call.
You have?
Yeah, Michael's been jealous of me.
Yeah, he does better than me and you.
Well, maybe I'll just have him call for me and guide for me, and I'll shoot a bird.
Yeah.
Well, listen, folks, we're going to take a quick break for a second, and we'll be right back and cover some more exciting stuff that we got for the show here, and we'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and now let's get back into it. And, Michael, right before we left, you guys were bragging about how good Jake hit the mouth call there. So You got your mouth call in, right, Jake? Yep. Okay, well, let everybody out there hear what you can do with it. That's pretty doggone good. Show off. Yeah, he's pointing to his brother right now like, yeah, I got you, bud. All right, that's good, man. You got to keep practicing on that thing, man. You'll have turkeys flying down all over the place, right?
Yep.
All right. Jake, thanks for joining us on the show today, and we're going to let you get out there. I know you got stuff to do, so we'll get you back on next week. And actually, we're going to be covering some stuff on the podcast while we're out hunting. We're going to take the cameras with us. We're taking our audio recorder with us, and I'm going to do some blogging while I'm down there and some interesting stuff. So I want to make this like an internet extravaganza. Obviously, we won't be able to put it on the net till we get back, but I'm hoping to have a lot of stuff that we can put up. The guys can check out and listen to videos, pictures, whatever, So if you guys are following my Hooks and Bullet blog regularly, we've been talking about some stuff over there, and I'm going to try to write while I'm down there, and that way I can just post it when I get back. You okay there, big fella?
Yeah. Got
the yawns going again?
Yeah.
You did that last week. I'm going to get my cattle prod back out and get you shocked there to get you motivated here for the show. We got a lot coming up, I hope, next week. I hope we got a lot of good stories and some good adventures, and I'm sure we're going to have some problems along the way that we can pass along for people to use as tips. We'll find something that's happened that didn't work out quite the way we wanted it to.
Just like always.
Just like always. Something always happens, but getting into some of our outdoor news now, second segment of the show that we normally do. I've only got a couple quick little things, but there's one piece of information that I've been working on here, for the last month or so, actually since we went coyote hunting with your teachers at school. And we started talking on the way down that trip that day when we started to go out that morning about this program called Archeries in the School program. And what it is it's a program put on through the state of Michigan, and it helps. Actually, they give grants to the schools. A matching grant to get archery in archery classes into the school system, and teaches kids how to shoot, how to target shoot. It has nothing to do with hunting. It's all about the skills of archery and the fun you can have and getting kids motivated to do things. And it might help kids who are not, that maybe don't want to get into gym class for whatever reason. This just gives them another avenue to get out and get active. Me. Yeah, kind of like you. Yeah, like gym. You don't like gym, but now if it comes to something outside, you love to do it. But we had talked to your teachers about this, and they knew about the program, and they were actually going to try to get it instituted and get it into your school or school system. And I wanted to help with the class, and the class itself and me was met with a little bit of resistance through the school. I don't even know if you know about this, but I've been talking to your teacher a little bit. And when it was presented to the school, I'm not the most favorite person at your school for a couple of reasons. Maybe it's because I'm a little controversial, I don't know, and things like this, and getting new innovative ideas instituted. That, and I work for the media here for the local television station, and there's been some issues there that people think that I kind of tipped them off to these stories, which I didn't, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, they don't want me involved with the program, I don't think, and they don't want the program in the school. But there is one little glimmer of hope that your principal's retiring at the end of the year. Yeah. And the guy who's taking over is a big sports nut, and him and I have a good rapport, and I'm hoping that we can kind of get this worked in. But the reason I'm bringing this up, I got an email from our buddy Chuck Parr, and that he said, hey, we got this new program in the schools over here called Archery in the School program. Do you know anything about it? And I'm like, man, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's what we're trying to get in over here. And actually, we've got it in 2 schools in the Flint area and 1 school just south of here. So it's a new program in the area, and there's some interest there. So hopefully it's something we can get into your school. Hopefully we can do it before you graduate, which would be kind of cool.
Seems like everything that happens at my school happens the year after.
After you're there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. But, sometimes it works out that way. But if we can lay the groundwork and get this going, and maybe other kids can benefit from it, and that's the whole key. It has nothing to do with me, and it's not about me. It's about the schools and about the kids. So that's the main thing. It's to help the kids out and get people involved, or the kids involved in the outdoors. And it doesn't have to be about hunting. It's just getting active and getting out and seeing things. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be in the school, and
That'd be pretty cool.
Hopefully it'll grow and just become something really cool here in the area. But the thing about it that's nice is the state of Michigan, they give, I don't know if it's the state of Michigan or if it's actually the Archery in the School program that gives the matching grant. I'm not sure exactly where that money comes from. I'll have to check that out. But
what, to buy the equipment?
Yeah, and it's $3,000, so they get $1,500 right up front, and all the school has to do is come up with the other $1,500 to get the equipment given to them. And
I think the bows that they use are like the Matthew Genesises.
They are the Matthew Genesis bow.
Them things are like what, $200?
Yeah, a couple $100 a piece. Yeah, and then the targets and the arrows.
To buy a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, what they do is they give them the equipment, and basically that's what it costs. They need $1,500 to cover the cost from the schools.
Now, would that be for each school or just the district?
No, for each program that's involved. You know, like our district here would get one set of equipment, and it could be used for all different grade levels, or different kids. And I think they get 10 bows, and one of the 10 is a left-handed bow. And then they get the targets and the equipment, and then they have to send the instructors to a class. Matter of fact, one of your teachers went to the class this weekend to be trained. So he's getting all the groundwork laid, and then hopefully next fall, like I say, once the principal leaves and the new one comes in, he can present this to the principal and to the school board and get this implemented into the schools. So we're working real hard, guys. And if anybody out there that's listening to the podcast knows anything about this and you've got a great success story, send me some information and send me the school district that it's in and a contact so we can give that to our school system, and they can in turn talk to them and find out how it works and how it's doing for that particular school. So that's just another way to kind of further this thing along. So with that being said, though, let's jump into our outdoor news. And like I said, I've only got two things here I want to talk about this week. And the first one is from the state of Maryland, and this came off of off Mossy Oak's website, off their news website this week. Actually, this morning I found it. And we talked about this a week or two ago, Michael, about House Bill 655. And what they were trying to do, it was a group of anti-hunters trying to get legislation passed to raise the minimum age requirement for hunting.
It wasn't to 13.
To 13, right. And right now in the state of Maryland, there is no age requirement at all, kind of like Ohio. But that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to keep kids from getting out and getting into the woods. So this went through the legislature, and they voted it down. They voted it down, so now those kids in Maryland can hunt. Well, they could fish anyway, but they can hunt and then get out there with their parents. And when their parents feel the time is right, they can allow them to go through the proper hunting safety training programs and then be able to hunt.
That's pretty cool. It
is. It's great, man. I applaud the state of Maryland and their legislature for taking a stand against these people and saying, no, you know what? These kids deserve to be able to get out there with their parents or a guardian and hunt. So, great news. Now, last week, if anybody is on the regular subscription and download page for the podcast, you noticed I posted what I called an emergency type podcast. It was a short little message about gun ownership and Second Amendment rights. And I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but I want to update as to kind of where things stand. And it involves the Olafson case, where he had an AR-15 civilian model. Okay, it wasn't a military weapon. It was an AR-15 civilian, which means it's a semi-automatic.
Like for varmint hunting?
For varmint hunting.
Like the ones like the AR-15?
Yep, and you know what? Let's get off the whole subject of how this gun looks. It's a semi-automatic .223, flat out. There's no difference in that and another semi-automatic .223 made by Remington, Ruger, or whoever. Browning, it doesn't matter, okay? Let's get off the looks. The gun, he loaned it to a buddy who took it out to the firing range and was target practicing with it. And it malfunctioned, and it shot 2 times with 1 trigger pull. It was a 2-round burst, and the third shell jammed.
It wasn't after he shot about 800 rounds?
He had been out there all day and shot over 800 rounds, and all of a sudden he went, "Pat," with 1 trigger pull. Well, obviously everybody looks like, what's going on, I mean, that's full auto, okay? And it was a malfunction of the gun. And this is not uncommon. This happens with not just military-style weapons. It happens with pistols, with other types of rifles.
I've heard of it with 10.22s.
It can happen, and it's a malfunction of the gun. But basically what happened is he was investigated, and the BATFE, the ATF came in, raided his home, took all of his weapons, took his computer and all of his weapons manuals, couldn't find anything wrong. He had done nothing wrong. And this is a 16-year military veteran, and he is now being prosecuted and it goes up for sentencing here pretty soon. And obviously they'll be going through the appeals process. But the reason I bring this up is, like you said, the Ruger 1022. That's a small caliber 22 rifle, semi-automatic, that most kids cut their teeth on when they start varmint hunting or when they start squirrel hunting as a youngster. Now, you mean to tell me that if that happened to you at the gun range, you're going to go to federal prison over a gun malfunction? This is a reason that we as Americans need to join the NRA. And I'm just going to put it out there plain and simple. I'm a member, and a lot of people I know are members. For $10, you can join this organization and forget the magazine. Just give them the $10 and be another voice that Washington will have to hear. If we all got one person to join, that would double the numbers. That would double our numbers, and Washington would have to recognize us. And some of these garbage convictions that they're trying to get against people for a gun malfunction, a simple malfunction of a gun, did not give him the opportunity to take it and go get it fixed. He was arrested, tried, and now convicted and being sentenced. And that's the reason the NRA is stepping up and trying to get laws and legislation passed that will get rid of all these little bogus things that they're trying to clamp down on and give people an actual honest chance to take care and get their guns fixed. Like I said, let me just stop there because I'm going to get on my soapbox if I don't. But if you want to know more about this, go to my blog site. I've been writing about this pretty extensively all week. And that's over at the Hooks and Bullets website. And I've given you the website before, and it'll be on the outline page of the podcast tonight. But very quickly, it's MichiganHuntingToday.com/Hooks and Bullets / Go over there and check it out. Make a comment if you want, whatever. So that's our outdoors news for the week this week. Anything you want to say? I mean, I know you were concerned about this a little bit.
Yeah, me and Bob, we were talking about 1022, just about what would happen. I mean, just for such a small caliber, like, if it malfunctioned, what would happen? Yeah.
Well, it's a malfunction. That's all it was, and he did nothing wrong. They can't find any proof that he manipulated the gun. It was wear and tear on the gun, normal wear and tear, and it malfunctioned, and that's the boat he wound up in. So, with that being said, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. I know you got some stuff in Game Bag you want to cover, and I got a couple other things and a few emails that I want to discuss that I got this week. And we'll be back with the end of the show.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, and now to the best part of the show, Mikey's Game Bag. Well, this week on Mikey's Game Bag, I'm going to be talking about something that we got an email from Bob, and in most cases everywhere, where gun ranges are starting to open up and stuff like that, snow is melting off, and talking about targets.
Yeah, Bob Rich told us this week, or actually a week or two ago, his local outdoor gun range had just opened up.
Yeah,
and
hasn't he been shooting at an indoor range?
Yeah, he shot an indoor range there for a little while, or one weekend or something, I think, and then and now he said the one there local, and I think his is run by the state, and I know there's a couple here in Michigan that are run by the state, and I assume that there's like that in other states. I really don't know, but yeah, I bet a lot of the gun ranges now are opening up. The ones that are public and getting the winter doldrums off. So.
It's kind of like ours.
Yeah, so, okay, well, you're talking about gun ranges this week or what?
Talking about targets, a website that we found that is called
Targets.
Yeah, that is called mytargets.com, and you can print off a whole bunch of targets, and you can download. I think there's some videos you can download and stuff.
Okay.
And there's tons of different targets. There's like I saw some elk ones on there, some sheep one.
Okay. And is this free?
Yeah, it's free.
Okay, so you can print off some targets before you go to the gun range.
Yeah.
Instead of buying them.
Yeah, which pretty costly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I do a lot of times. I'll get on the internet and go and Google search by image
Google
and print.
Images.
I just put the word targets in. But this website here's got a lot of the ones I've seen before. It's pretty cool. And they got one other cool little item there.
Oh, shooter's log, which is like how you did like which rings you hit and stuff and scores. And then
the ammunition you're using, distances and things like that.
Yeah, kind of like on shotgun patterning ones. Like they'll have turkey head and they'll have like
all the information.
Yeah, on the bottom that you fill out. Something else that's cool is they have something like ours. They have like the state game departments.
Yeah, they've got links to all the DNR agencies in the 50 states.
And a link for all fire manufacturers.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I clicked on that earlier and looked at it. They got all the main ones, but they also got some that they're kind of the obscure or not so popular name brands too, which is kind of cool. Especially if you got one of those firearms and you need to get a hold of manufacturer for some reason.
Did you find that one for your shotgun on there?
That company closed down a long time ago. You know what? I haven't brought this up on any of the shows either, so it might be a good place to talk. I don't want to jump onto your game bag though.
No, I'm not already.
Oh, okay.
Well, there is one last thing. There's a link for air guns.
Oh, the airsoft, or not airsoft, but air rifles.
Like BB guns.
BB guns and spring-loaded guns and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty cool little website. Got some good shooting tidbits on there, so go check it out. And it's at mytargets.com. Pretty easy website to remember. Matter of fact, I think we ought to put a link on that to ours.
Yeah.
But getting back to what you had asked me, I blogged about this on our Up North Journal hunting blog a couple weeks back. I've got an old shotgun that was given to me by my uncle, and it is my great-grandfather's shotgun. It's an old 12-gauge single shot, and it was made by Meridian Firearms in Meridian, Connecticut. And I thought I'd throw it out there to Bob Rich because he lives in Connecticut, and I thought, how big can Connecticut be? He's got to know where this city is. Well, come to find out, he lives like he said a stone's throw of this place. And he asked some buddies of his and got some response back, and I've got some information about the company now. But I'm looking for information on the gun and just trying to get a little history on it. It's be nice to have a little history behind some of the family heirlooms that are handed down. I mean, I've got family history on it, but it'd be nice to say, well, okay, it cost this much and these types of stuff. I know it was sold through Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Wards back in the day, and it was manufactured somewhere in the mid-19-teens to 1920s, somewhere in that era. So, just trying to find out a little bit about it. I'm always interested in things like that. But I don't dare shoot it. Number one, the loads today are a lot higher at a lot higher pressures than the loads were back then. Back then they shot paper shells. And today, the plastic hulls, the pressures can get up pretty substantial on them. And it's not a Damascus barrel, which if anybody knows what Damascus barrel is, if you have a gun with a Damascus barrel on it, do not shoot them with modern loads. You can blow the gun apart. They're very dangerous. And but this is not one of those. It's just I don't feel comfortable shooting it. It's just a family hand-me-down.
What is a Damascus barrel?
They made it by twisting steel rods together, heating them up, and taking them and twisting them instead of one piece of steel, the way they normally manufacture a barrel today. But it was made in multiple pieces. That's the best way that I've been told of how they were made. And they rolled these together and twisted them, and then heated it up, and they bonded or binded together, and by doing that, it was just a weak process of making a gun barrel. So if you've got one of those, you definitely do not want to shoot one of those. Today's modern powders and modern cartridges and things of that nature are just way too powerful for those barrels, and you can get hurt or possibly even killed if the thing were to blow up and hit you just right. So. But no. But back to our thing there. Meridian Firearms is the company that made that shotgun, and I'm curious. I'm a history buff anyway.
Yeah.
I like to find out stuff about old things and the history behind it. And so if anybody knows anything about Meridian Firearms, email us and let us know. I'm definitely looking for some of that stuff. Now, speaking of emails, we got a couple this week, and we put a question out last week about collared game animals, and it was actually that whole question arose out of something that was happening in the state out in the state of Washington, where they're trying to pass a law making it illegal to use a electronic device to track radio collared game animals and harvesting them. And evidently somebody somewhere has either come up with the idea or a device to where you can track these animals. Obviously,
must be pretty smart.
Well, I mean, they've got these devices where you can hear the pings on them, and that's how the biologists track these animals, and they find them and do whatever they need to do. But evidently, somebody has come up with the idea of using this to track them and then shoot them. So they were going to make that outlawed. But then you and I got to talking. It's like, well, would you ever shoot a collared animal? When we compared it to banding a duck or a goose or a tagged fish. And I got an email actually from a gentleman out in the state of Washington who told me some interesting tidbits about how they do this. And here's what he wrote me, and this is from Mike Kramer, and he's got a website called gunsrus.net. And this is what he wrote. Mike, just a quick note on your question about hunting collared game. For me, I probably would shoot most game with a collar. But you should know that I live in Washington State, and hunting out here is rather more difficult than it is in the Midwest. The average hunter success rate in Washington is only about 25% each year. You're required to pick your method of hunting, archery, modern, or muzzleloader, before the season even starts, and you can only pick one. Our seasons range from a week to almost 3 weeks depending on which species and method of hunting that you're doing. There is also heavy restrictions on whether you can take does or bucks, cows or bulls, or if it's a 3-point or bigger, spike only, antlerless, and this all changes as to which game management unit you're hunting in. So with the difficulty you're having in being successful, I probably would shoot a collared animal, though I can't say that I agree specifically with tracking down a collared game and shooting it. But if it were a herding type of game, like elk, I could see using a tracking device to help find where the herds are roaming. So some interesting way of hunting out there. I did not know that about the state of Washington, that you had to pick which method you're going to use before the season started, and you put in for it that way. Here in Michigan, you can bow hunt, you can modern firearm hunt, and you can muzzle load. And that's you can do all three.
Yeah.
So
in Washington, you can only pick one.
You can only pick one, and that's what you get to do for that season for the year. You can't switch back and forth like we do. Very, very interesting. I did not know that. Just goes to show you how much difference there is from one state to the other. And knowing your game laws before you go somewhere else and hunt. Kind of like what we've been going through going to Ohio. I've learned a lot about the state of Ohio and their game laws and what you got to go through and the hoops you got to jump through to do certain things. So, very interesting email that he sent. And, he said that he would take a collared animal. And obviously I can see why. Because the success rate there is so low to begin with. And if you get the opportunity to take something and it's collared, you're probably going to take it, And obviously it sounds like it's legal there, too. Here in Michigan, you can shoot collared animals here. There's nothing that says you can't. And we talked about that last week on the show. So now I did get an email this week from a friend of mine here in town, Tim, who said that he probably would also, depending on, obviously he wouldn't shoot a doe, but if it were a nice buck or a bear or something of that nature, that he probably would too. So those are the only 2 emails that I got this week. And I don't know, you're looking at me strange. What are you thinking?
I was thinking, what would you do if you actually did shoot one? You have to report that you shot it?
I don't know. If I shot a collared animal, I would probably take it to the state wildlife agency just to make sure, whoever was tracking the animal got their collar back. I don't think that there's any law here in Michigan that requires you to report that. I think it would be out of common courtesy. Maybe in some states you would have to report it. But, the last thing you want to do is have that collared animal on your vehicle and driving down the road, and all of a sudden they're trying to track it, and it's running 60 miles an hour down the freeway. Hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? But, no, I think it'd just be common courtesy because somebody's tracking that animal, and they're trying to get some biological information. And once you harvested it, they could gain more knowledge from that animal once you harvest it also, for whatever they're trying to find out. Kind of like we do with the waterfowl and with fish that are tagged.
This kind of reminds me of deer cams. I think it's deercam.com or something like that.
Uh-huh.
What they'll do is they'll tranquilize like a deer or something. And they do it with bucks. What they'll do is it's like a radio collar that they put around it, but it has a camera in it. And you can see what they're doing.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Where's that at?
I've Googled it before. I think it's deercamera.com or something. And you can actually watch live video of
Really?
deer. Yeah. And they'll have like deer 1, deer 2 and stuff.
Well, let's just check this out. Seeing how...
Just Google it because I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so right here it is, man. This is called www.deerchannel.com. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never would have ever dreamed you could put a camera on a deer and watch it, you know.
They're cool. And right now we're watching a video. It looks like a deer.
Yeah, he's just standing out there looking around in a meadow. You can see his nose off the front of the camera, but it's video they've got now. What I wonder is, I don't think this is probably live video. It's probably something that they've, like you said, they tranquilized the deer and put. Yep, there he goes. He's looking around. That's pretty cool. You guys got to check this out. If you do, go on their website, and in the toolbar, it doesn't pop up right on the very top of it. There's little arrows, right and left arrows. You got a right arrow, and it says Deer Cam, and then you can check it out there. But they've got a couple different ones here of different things to look at. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Here's that deer. He's just standing there looking around. You can see the camera moving. But who would have thought you could have put a small camera and record what a deer movement does and where they go and where they interact and all that.
I'm sure you could find more videos like this on YouTube also. Yeah,
well, if they've got them out there, I don't know how many people can strap a camera on a deer and let it go and they catch it again later. I wonder if this is on a game ranch too, maybe.
Well, yeah, this is on a game ranch, the deerchannel.com.
Okay, so they can't get out and then roam off the property where they can get away from them and take their camera gear with them.
See, what they do is I think they strap it onto their antlers or something.
Okay.
So that way when they shed their antlers, they can go back out and get their camera, and they probably have like a GPS on it or something.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they tranquilize them again and take it off. But this is cool. I mean, this is really cool. There he goes. He's walking. This is pretty incredible. You can sit here and watch movements of a deer from a deer's point of view. Man, we've gotten off topic.
Yeah.
Going from collared deers to deer cam. So, speaking of video, though, Michael, I ran across one this week, and like I said, if you've been listening to or reading some of the things I've been blogging about, you'll remember, if you've been reading, that I've been on a kind of a pro-trapping rant here lately and supporting trapping, even though we don't trap. But it's just a form of game management that I find interesting, and if the antis get a hold of that and take that away, then they're just going to take a little more away from different styles of hunting and fishing and what have you. So you're interested in this other video, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to turn it off so you can keep them on track here. Those deer's running through the field.
Chasing those.
But anyway, back to the trapping thing. I ran across a video this week. It's really informative, and whether you are a trapper or not, it gives a scientific reason as to why we trap. It shows how foothold traps are used and how they don't hurt animals and how they use it to manage game animals and maybe even to relocate animals into a different area where the population might be low and they want to
like they were talking about the otters and stuff.
The river otters, they trapped them. They used a foothold trap to trap them in one state, and then they moved them to Missouri to where they can build a population there. So, but anyway, this video is called Destroying the Myth, and we have it on our blog site and our Up North Journal hunting blog. So if you go over there and check that out, you can watch that video. You can link to it, use it in any way that you want, to help spread the good word about trapping. So I just want to get that out there this week. And speaking of websites, that blog site is www.upnorthjournalhunting.blogspot.com. And then obviously I've already given you the website for our Hooks and Bullets website where we blog over there. And if you're really unsure of where all of our stuff lies, because we're really hitting about 4 or 5 different spots now, just go to upnorthjournal.com.
We're everywhere.
It's as simple as that, upnorthjournal.com. And we've got links all over the place to the things that we're doing. That way you can find us in one good central location. Speaking of, on there is our email address, and this is the opening weekend. Tomorrow morning is the opening day of turkey season here in Michigan, and it's the opening day of turkey season in Ohio, and it may be in a couple other states. I know they're already hunting in other states down, further south than here. If you've got a good success story, or just some good pictures from your hunt, and you want to share them, email them to us. Send them to us, and we'll put them up on our blog site, or we'll put them on our website for everybody else to see. and send your story along with it. You know, we like to hear good success stories. We like to hear funny stories too. If something crazy or funny or unique happened to you while you're out there in the woods,
falling out of a boat or something.
Yeah, something crazy. You know, let us know about it. We always like to share that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, that's about all I got this week. You got anything else?
Yeah, I'm just like this camera thing.
You're still intrigued. I got this. This thing is still going here. This deer is running through the field. This is crazy. Go over and check that out, man. That's cool stuff, man. Deerchannel.com. It's I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty intriguing. So, but with that being said, that's all I got this week. We're going to get out. We're going to Ohio.
Finish packing.
We're going to finish packing, get to Ohio, and get after some turkeys this week. And I hope when we come back next week, we got a good show to put up for you guys. You guys will have something really good to listen to. I'm looking forward to this week. That's all. I'm just so pumped right now. If for some reason the show is not posted by Sunday evening, bear with us. Like I say, we're going to be rolling in on Sunday night, and we're going to try to have most of the show already kind of put together from the whole week. And it might take me till Monday afternoon to get it put up. Possibly. I don't know yet. We're just going to have to kind of play it by ear and see what happens. So just bear with us. So if we're not there, as we usually are every Sunday night, don't worry. We're still around. We just haven't got it put up on the net yet. So
it'd be weird with the school night.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll get out there and we'll get after it. And, you know, you got to miss school every now and then to have a little bit of fun. You know, as long as your grades are good and you do your studying. And I hammered you pretty good last week, so you've done pretty good this week. And you just got to keep it up and get through the rest of school.
I got to get out my schoolwork for Thursday and Friday.
Yep, got to get all that taken care of so you can get out and go with us. So, but guys, if you get out there, as we say here at the Up North Journal, always shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.